And we are back in the damn studio.
In person.
Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by
Josh Griffey.
Hey, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or even on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment, ratings and reviews. Hell, we appreciate it. And it's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Good to be back.
Also, Spotify, I don't know if you've been getting my tweets with my home address for that giant podcast check. Let me know.
Yeah, I talked to Joe Rogan, and
yeah,
he said throw a little our way. I think
we're pretty much like the exact same. So yeah, 100 mil.
What a guy. God.
Can you imagine? It is funny because like Joe Rogan listeners sometimes rub me. I feel like I'm like in the Venn diagram. I'm mostly with Rogan listeners, man.
I like Rogan.
I like MMA. I like politics. I like conspiracies. But, like, his fans are not as interesting as Rogan, so they can be a little much online. But you're just like, that guy literally is the most interesting man on earth. Like, that commercial. He's up there. I mean, he's like, yeah, I go and I picked up bow hunting elk to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do psychedelics. I have, like, a fucking sensory deprivation tanks.
Yeah.
I was like, he literally is like a comic book villain.
Yeah.
That just has a good podcast and made $100 million.
I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him.
No, get that bag, dude.
Well, it's like I don't know how you acquire so many skills. It was like, well, I was like yesterday. So Chucky and the other guys that own the bar, they bought a boat, like this piece of shit boat. And so I was with Ryan, Chucky. I was with him because he had to drop the boat off at some place because it didn't have a fucking key. First, like they bought the boat, didn't have an ignition, so they got to put like a whole new ignition in it.
So now you need hot wiring skills.
But we're like. So we're down like at the marina or whatever, and there was like a sailboat or something. I was like, "What a cool skill to like be able to know like how to sail."
Yeah.
But like I can't. It seems like a big fucking, commitment to be like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna go learn how to sail. I don't think you just do it in a day.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a process.
Well, it's ridiculous because with quarantine, you're like, all right, I'm gonna like get back, right? So like, my dad, when I finally got like a big house, he was like, here, take your high school drum set out of the basement. I'm like,
hell yeah,
this is time. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking shred drums. I'll probably be back in a band, know, before you know. I started playing one day and I was like, oh fuck, like, I haven't played drums in 15 years. I can't play drums anymore. Yeah. And you're like, all right, I'll just do some YouTubing and I'll have it figured out. I'm like 0%, right? I put in like one sesh. Yeah. And then you're like, I bought tarot cards. I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to do that. Why not? That'll be a panty dropper.
Why not?
Yeah, like panty dropper. Boom. Yeah. Hey, Amy, it's Sex Saturday. Boom. Tarot. Like, what kind of positions? Tried to read it, and you're like, no, I don't know how people pick up new skills, period.
It's tough.
Well, because it's all out there. That's the thing that sucks. Like, the one thing I did over break was I got a bike, and Amy was like, you should get one of those big tire bikes. I'm like, I get it, I'm fat.
Oh,
like,
fat boy,
yeah. I was like, I can ride a normal bike, but she's like, maybe the big one. So she found one and just sent me to pick it up.
Yeah.
Right? And the lady, like, left it on the lawn, so, like, we didn't interact. But the tire was fucked up because they did it wrong. So I got on YouTube and learned how to remount a tire.
Sure.
And for a day, I was just riding. I was like, Amy, do you see me riding the bike with the tire? I felt so fucking manly.
Yeah.
It was like a 2-second YouTube tutorial.
Well, it's like we built the deck at Chucky's bar, and like I've done woodworking and stuff years ago. Like my grandpa had a shop and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was that thing, and like we got out there, and they were like, I was like, I'm here to help, and then I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't think I can relearn like all of this. I'm just gonna use the drill. You guys, you just hand me the boards, and I'll put the board. I can do that. I can work the fucking power drill. So that's what I did. And I was like, whatever. They were fine with it, and I was like, I'm still kind of a man. So
no, it's ridiculous because when I was a kid, my dad worked at a car factory. His dream was to be a sports broadcaster, right? So we went to Ball State where we went.
Yeah.
Got his degree, didn't work out, right? Ended up with my family somehow. And so he worked at a car factory, and when he got off at 2:30, he would drive and he would build spec houses.
Yeah.
And so me and my younger brother as teenagers were like his crew, and we would build houses, right? He built all the houses we lived in my whole childhood.
Yeah.
And we'd go out and build houses, and he'd try to sell them. And as I'm older now, like at the time I was just like, what a stupid hobby. This sucks. But then as you get older, you're like, wait, so he just was a guy who worked at a factory before YouTube.
Yeah.
And learned how to draw blueprints and then go buy all the stuff you need and just learned how to do that.
Yeah.
Shit. Like my dad just knew how to frame and build an entire house. And the only thing he would send out is like electricians and plumbers.
Well, yeah.
We did every other, like he knew how to drywall. And I was just like, the level of man that like that generation is, we just have no hope of achieving it.
Well, yeah. And that like, so one of the other owners of the bar that Miller owns, so they're going, they're opening another bar in Westfield.
Right.
But I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? This was yesterday. And he was like, me and Jones, the other owner, we're going to go put the wiring at the new bar. And so I was like talking to Jones. I was like, did you go to like school, like wiring school or electrical? And he's like, no, I just like kind of figured it out over the years. And I was like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like wiring an entire building. And it's like, and it's all up to code. Like he gets it inspected and shit. And it's just like, how do you just learn how to do that?
Well, that's the thing. People can just learn shit. And somehow I just don't.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing that is the most troubling, right? It's like Twitter's in a big fight this week.
Yeah.
Because they started checking Trump's tweets.
Yeah.
And so now he's coming out like, I'm going to shut these motherfuckers down and whatever. And I was just like, can you imagine, like, this is what we do with the internet?
Yeah.
Like, all I do is just I go and I watch black girl fighting. That's like one of my favorite searches. And then weird pornography.
Yeah.
And you're like, at the same time I'm doing that, I could be learning to do any other fucking skill that's ever existed.
Yeah.
Everything you ever want to know exists on the internet. And it's
amazing.
I think it's one of those we think it's there on the internet, so we don't have to learn it, because when we need it, we can just YouTube it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what else exists on the internet. I got to address something here.
I was wondering if we were going to do this.
I promised myself that I would. So those of you that have been watching the Kent Murphy podcast, we created quite a stir yesterday. I had Josh Reddick on the pod, and it got trashed in the comments. And I get it. Here's the thing. I'm just gonna say that. Here's the thing. First of all, if you're mad at the Astros, you should be. I am.
I do love that you wore your Trastro shirt for this game.
You and I have been some of the loudest voices. Like again, and I get that. And I'm with it, and I'm not telling you how to feel about it. If you're mad about it, you're mad about it. The only thing that pissed me off were the personal attacks. Not on me, on Josh. And I'm just going to say this, and you've met Josh too.
Great guy.
Pretty much from day one, Josh has been a supporter of like everything that I've done. He had us out to spring training, gave us a place to stay. He's never asked for anything in return. He's just been a good person. He's been a good friend. And one thing that I pride myself on, or that I care about the most, is loyalty. And so whatever he did on the field, that's his cross to bear. But I'm not going to turn my back on a guy like that just because of that. That's not what friendship is. That's not what loyalty is. And that's why I had him on the pod. And the Kent Murphy pod it's not 60 minutes. We're there to make baseball comedy and laugh. And so that's what we did. And he's a great guy.
Yeah. He
just built a fucking, like a multi-million-dollar stadium out of his own pocket for kids with disabilities. Like he's not a piece of shit. He's a great dude.
But he still signed so fucking forever.
and whatever happened on the field, I'll be mad as you want about that. I'm totally fine with that. But that's what it is, and that's all I'm going to say about it. He's a great dude. He's been a good dude to me, and I'm not going to turn my back on him.
Right. And
that's,
again,
that's
we
all
met
there
him,
is.
and he just took us in like we were old pals. He's a great, sweet guy, right?
Yep.
The thing, and again, we have been the loudest, and I fucking despise the Astros as an organization.
And he's seen them, like he knows, and that's my business and that's his business.
Yeah,
we don't.
But again,
he gets it.
We were never calling for people to find like Reddick in his front yard when he's mowing and whip baseballs at him.
No.
You handle that shit on the field.
Yeah,
like baseball is, at the end of the day, just a game.
It is.
It's an absolute game, and it doesn't matter.
And I love
it. We talk about it on here because it's fun for us to argue.
Yeah.
That's the other value of things like sports and movies, is it's something to discuss and argue with friends, right? But just if someone cheats in a game, like Josh Reddick and the Astros doing whatever they did on the field, that didn't, I mean, you could say it cost people some money, it cost people, rings or whatever. It's not like he's running around like, pistol whipping grandmas.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Like,
and he's not Carlos Correa in it either, where he's just blabbering his mouth about it.
Yeah.
He took his lumps and he moved on.
Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is. And listen, even more than it just being a game, it's a job. It's their profession. And if you're telling me in whatever your profession is, like, look, if somebody came to me right now and was like, hey, that video, like, that podcast is getting 1,000 views if you if you do a little bit of this, million views every
Yeah.
2 hours. I'd be like, okay, let's try that angle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
If I could
I'm not
cheat-
saying it's right, but I'm saying like everybody does shit like that in their jobs. It just so happens to be theirs as baseball.
Yeah.
And it's back, and I'm not defending it because it's still a piece of shit move by that team, and I'm not going back on my stance on it.
Yeah.
It just him as a person is different than him as a baseball player.
And also, again, the biggest umbrages we took were not with the Astros for trying to gain advantage. That's seemingly, like you said, if I could right now, they're like, hey, if you spit in your mom's salad once a week, you'll get like an extra 1 million views a month. Like, I'd do that. Sorry, Mom. It's just like, you would do that, right? Hey, you want to smack your kid in the face? And yeah, okay, just kidding, not that one.
All you gotta do is spit in some hookers' mouths and be like, yeah, let's go.
They can spit in my mouth. They can put anything in my mouth. I don't care. But that's what I mean. We would all do that. My biggest beefs were with MLB and how they handled it. Because if MLB had just come out and punished them the Armageddon style they promised us, no one would give a fuck.
Yeah, we got to do some more Rob Manfred videos.
We do.
Those are fun.
So
Those are fun.
if Rob Manfred
Stupid
comes
butthole.
on, if Rob Manfred comes on the Kent Murphy podcast, you can go full Brian Gumbel on.
Yeah.
Then it's on. Then it's hardcore.
That guy would, because I have issue with that guy. About his profession, not personally. He might be a good guy personally. I don't know.
Maybe.
He sucks at commissioning baseball, though. He sucks at that.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate LeBron. He seems like a great guy in real life. I don't hate him as a person. I just think he's kind of a bitch on the court.
Yeah, but if LeBron
make
came on this pod,
that distinction.
we could talk to him.
Just make that distinction. Yeah.
You should talk to people you disagree with and don't get along with and everything. You should treat people decently, right? Unless they're like
sometimes
real bad people.
Yeah.
Like they're bad people. I'm one of those. I'm like, you can throw some humans away.
Yeah, like I'm not going to have a fireside chat with like Hitler or something. You know what I mean?
Hey,
let's let bygones be bygones.
If there was ever a video, I'm like, I would get my research ready and I'd want to have a chat and like lay into something. He'd be on there.
Yeah.
I'd make fun of him. And then you're like, go. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's like he didn't commit like a crime. You know, like I'm like, we have serious problems in this world.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It is what it is.
It's weird to me that people think that the Kent Murphy podcast is the place for this to be arbitrated.
Yeah. and the other thing with that is, like, and like I said, if you're pissed at the Astros, you hate the Astros. I get that, and you're probably justified.
Yeah, same.
And feeling that, absolutely. But I'm also not gonna not have guys on the pod. Like if they want to come on and we can have a laugh together, like that would be foolish of me to not have them on. Anyway, and it just so happens him and I have formed a relationship over the last 7 or 8 years, and he's a good dude. And so we talked about it and he came on.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm fine with it. Yeah.
I agree totally.
I make no apologies for it.
Nothing we ever have done on our channel, we've never lied to you guys and said you should really like care about what we say, that we have serious information, that we are journalists. We are just here to talk shit with our friends. That's all we do.
Yeah.
Everything we do is comedy.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. And that's it. Now, you know who I really want to have on is Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
I know we talked about this last week, but now they're talking about like $20 million for the fight. You saw him with a bunch of wrestlers.
He
which
came
is
on
incredible.
AEW Wrestling last night, took his fucking shirt off and looked jacked.
He's yoked.
And reignited a feud with Chris Jericho with Vitor Belfort, Rashad Evans, and Henry Cejudo, who just retired after winning another title in the UFC. And I was like, this is turning into marvelous crossover promotion.
I need this so bad.
But no, I heard that someone offered Tyson $100 million to do a bare knuckle fight.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about on our last show. That's what I'm here for. I don't want to watch him in a sanctioned boxing match like we've seen. I want to see the freak show.
Well, that's the thing, and I don't know. You know what? Like, I read like $20 million for like an actual fight. I don't know about the bare knuckle
with Holyfield.
Yeah, something like that. But I think that's lowball, especially right now. Could you imagine? So if they set up the Tyson Fury fight, or Deontay Wilder,
for sure,
whatever. But like if they did that right now with no sports on, that would be the biggest pay-per-view.
Sure.
It'd be up there with like that golf match that was the other day.
That golf match had like 6 million views.
Yeah, it was the most watched golf tournament of all time.
Yeah, golf, which no one watches.
Yeah.
Like,
more than any Masters, more than any of that
I know
shit.
bros that like golfing because it's a reason to go out, be outside, talk to your friends, drink, and they don't watch golfing.
It was I watched it, man.
I watched clips.
It was fun.
Yeah, I watched clips.
I love Peyton, though. I just, I got a little...
and he won, right? Him and Tiger
and Tiger. Yeah, everybody knew they were going to win. Brady looked like shit, man. I suck at golf. I think I could beat Brady.
One for the tall forehead.
I think I could beat Brady.
Yeah, right. Did you see him sink that one from like 108 out?
Yeah, I mean, people get lucky sometimes, man.
When you're the GOAT, it's not
I couldn't be. Yeah, I could.
I don't know.
I could beat him at football.
But what
probably.
was great about, like, what was the most memorable thing in that to me?
If I were in
it
that,
was Brady hitting that shot and telling Chuck to suck it.
Well, yeah, if I were
First
in that,
off, golf, you should hire Charles Barkley right now for all the money.
Yeah.
Like, that's a guaranteed done deal.
That was money in the bank. But, you know, like, if I were, you know, in that Patriots system and being able to cheat without punishment, I would have won 6 titles, too. I probably would have won 8.
Ridiculous. Here we go. Quarantine madness is well, this is what I'm saying. They still have the system in place. Presumably, the cheating will have a slight uptick this season. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win shit.
Well, one of the most interesting things I saw this week, I don't know if you saw this video, but there was a WNBA player, and she's the daughter of somebody that played in the NBA. I can't remember her name now. D. Brown's daughter, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, the title of the video was D2 men's basketball player takes on WNBA player and gets owned. And it's true. He was a D2 basketball player, and she whipped his ass. However, he might have played D2 in like 1998. And
was he old? He was looking old?
He was looking old, and he was about 100 pounds overweight. And he
guy.
couldn't move side to side. And I was like, I mean, come on with that headline. Like, you know, run out somebody from Kansas.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know,
I saw a video just like this must be a thing going on. But I saw a video of this girl showed up at like an LA Fitness, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, she was bad, though. I'm not taking away. She whipped his ass.
Sure.
She actually had some moves. It was impressive.
But this girl showed up and just like absolute smoke. Like perfect manicured blonde hair, right? Long hair, right?
Yep.
Hoodie, but like the volleyball shorts. So like showing it off.
Yeah.
And then she goes to this gym and it's like, watch girl basketball player destroy men. And first I'm like, she's not playing men. She found like 4 little Biebers.
Yeah.
Right? And they all look like they're about 5'5", 110 pounds.
Yeah.
And she starts smoking them.
Yeah.
But this is my umbrage. I was like, they're playing make it, take it.
But it's badass.
I was like, if you can shoot 7 in a row and make it, take it against a Bieber,
you win.
That's cool.
You
like,
win.
I couldn't make 7 shots in a row. But this is, if you want to end this, right? This is a funny thing I saw because a buddy of mine was actually on that show.
Yeah.
There's a GIF that goes around that we get sometimes where it's the first female pitcher in the bigs, right? And she throws a pitch and Kent Murphy fucking annihilates it. I love that GIF. Yeah, they made a show, I believe, called Pitch, and it was about the first woman who becomes a pitcher on the San Diego Padres. And a guy I used to party with played one of the main baseball player dudes on it. So he posted, this was the best show I ever worked on, blah, blah, blah. So I started watching it, and I was just like, of course this show's getting trashed on Twitter. Because that's the only way it works, right?
Yeah.
You're like, get the best girl pitcher right now in the world and be like, go up there and fucking burn Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Strike Mike Trout out once, just once. You get like 300 pitches.
Yeah, but most major league pitchers can't do that.
Well, that's what I mean, right? But this is the video we're looking at. Like, if you're going to be like, we're going to use a fat old guy or little Biebers to denigrate the entire group of men.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be like some guy being like, or some girl being like, I want to prove I'm a great fitness model because I stand next to big, fat, shirtless Griffey.
Yeah.
And you're like, that doesn't work.
On the other
That's
side,
not fair.
On the other side of that, though, like one of the greatest events in the history of mankind was when Scalabrini.
Yes.
Do you remember that? So like he played for, and he was just like this 9th man on a bunch of teams. He played for Boston for a while.
Garbage giant ginger.
But like all the fans used to trash him because they'd be like, he just looked like us. He looked like you and me, but he was out there getting minutes in the NBA.
Yeah.
And they're like, I could beat Scalabrini. He's just like an average white guy. So when he retired, he fucking he got tired of hearing the shit.
Yeah.
So he put out like flyers and like put out a call in Boston. Anybody that wants to come down and play me one-on-one, you can. And like all these fucking people from Boston came down. Only one person even scored a point on him. Yeah. Like he just dominated them, and like no mercy, no holds barred. Like I watched them, and like he's just backing them down and just like putting. He's like, yeah, I might have sucked in the NBA, but I was in the NBA, and like
it's like also I practice for seasons.
You work at Hardee's. Like I'm gonna win.
Put your apron away. You're a bit of a step down from guarding Kevin Garnett in practice. But that's what like those guys aren't the same species as us. Like a guy who's 6'10" and has basketball skills, You just can't walk up and beat that guy.
The worst.
If you make it to the NBA or the WNBA, you're on a different level of athleticism. Than, like, you can go into LA Fitness, and I was in there playing a pickup game before quarantine. My brother's like, let's get back in.
Yeah.
And so I would go in the morning, I'd start shooting hoops, and eventually there'd be like 8 of us, right?
Yeah.
Kind of older guys, like a mix, right? It's daytime basketball. And they'd be like, let's run a game. And there'd always be one fucking punk who came in, is like, I'm 6'5", I can still dunk, I'm like going way too hard, right? With all of us old guys. And one guy, I remember, because I set a pick, he ran by the guy and dunked and turned around and eyeballed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, to be fair, the guy I picked weighs 100 pounds less than me. And he is 48 years old.
Fucking A. That's the way to pick him, though.
I was like, you're 19. Well, yeah, I was like, first off, if you're going to, don't mean mug
I'm wrecking fools, baby.
Well, I was looking for the point. I was like,
better block out.
That's what I got. I was like, I'll put the 280 on him and try to be a pick, right? I'm like a pick and like a solid box out guy at this point. That's all I do. But I was like, he turned around and was mean mugging a 48-year-old. That's the guy that needs to be in the video.
I'm into it.
Because that guy legitimately thinks he was like a turn away from being a pro, and you're like, you weren't. You absolutely were not.
If I wouldn't have got that knee injury in 3rd grade, like, okay, that's what it was. You know what I mean? Yeah.
My knees were so tired from all the puss I was slaying in high school.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the worst player in any professional sport.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I don't care what it is. NBA, WNBA, golf, fucking whatever, could beat any average Joe.
Any.
At that particular sport. Any.
Well, they used to have that Spike TV show, right? Pros versus Joes.
Yeah.
And people would be like, see? And you're like, well, no, because first off, they're not playing a game of basketball. They'd make them do like American Gladiator, like fake challenges. Also, all of those guys are old and retired. They weren't like, hey, do you think you could block J.J. Watt? Like, that wasn't the show. You know what I don't think the average guy like us can even imagine.
Just watching regular guys get trucked by fucking J.J. Watt, all day I'd watch that.
I'm about 6'1",
Lateral
and
Suggs
280
just fucking
pounds,
light
right?
people up over the middle.
Yeah. What do you how do you think I could even make him like slow down for a second? No. I'm a 280-pound guy, and he would fucking throw me to the breeze like I was nothing.
Well, it's
They're
like
just not the same.
They did it on Jackass when they had Jared Allen.
Dude.
Remember that when he lit up?
Well, because it looked like he killed him.
They let him run over the middle. It was Johnny Knoxville. I think he runs over the middle, and Jared Allen just truck sticks him.
To this day, I can't believe Knoxville went up like that.
And he's in full pads too, and he was still like, "Oh no,
well, there's no pad here. Yeah. There's no fucking pad.
It's one of the best clips ever, man."
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Because I saw Brittany Griner at LAX once.
Yeah.
And I told she looked like the
huge.
Predator. Yeah, because she's about 7 feet tall. She has these long dreads. Her fingers look like this microphone stand. Like her hands.
Yeah.
When she went to grab luggage, I was like, oh my God, they're massive.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, the chances of a guy like us beating Brittany Griner is 0.
Yeah.
He's absolutely fucking 0.
Yeah.
That said, don't post these fake bullshit videos against old men and little guys. Go find that kid who dunked on us.
I'm the first to admit I had like that when I was younger. Like in college.
Oh, yeah.
And I was playing some rec league basketball. I was the dude that was like, I'm pretty sure I could beat most of the WNBA 1-on-1. and it was and I learned quick, and I was like, wait a minute, like I'm averaging like 8 a game against the fattest guys at Ball State. Like, no, I can't. But like it was serious. Like for a minute, it wasn't hyperbole. It was just like in my head, I was like, I could take on Candace Parker right now.
Yeah, for sure. I've had 2 moments in my life for real.
And I learned quick that I'm wrong.
I had the wrong take, right? Because I was wrestler in high school, so I was like pretty strong and shit and healthy when I was young. Mm-hmm. Even into my mid-20s, I was still doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and shit. And so the 2 ones that I've died on those branches, right? When I was 28, I was convinced. I was like, I would beat the shit out of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I was like, if I fist fought Aaron Rodgers, I would fucking snap him in half. And all my friends are like, you're an idiot. He gets tackled for a living. He's way bigger than you think. I'm like, that's fine. But I'm convinced. I see it in his eyes. I see weakness. I could fucking beat Aaron Rodgers in a bar fight. And I would be like drunk at bars, like, I would bet any, like tweeting at the Packers, like, give me Rodgers
now.
Yeah. I'm the undercard for Tyson
Fury.
The
war on the shore, baby.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, right? We're gonna do like that WWE Undertaker match where we set up like gypsy carts. That's the ring, right? All these old gypsies are throwing curses at us. And I'm gonna fucking knock out Aaron Rodgers, and then Tyson's gonna get knocked out by Tyson Fury. But I was convinced. I'm like, I could fucking beat Aaron Rodgers up. Probably not true, but like I was convinced. right? But then my other sports illusion was I was like,
oh, that'd be awesome.
Because I wasn't like you. I'm like, I couldn't beat WNBA players one-on-one. But I was like, there's a universe where I could have been the Dennis Rodman of the
and just get boards.
That was my thing. I'm like, dude, I'm like 250. I can move. Like, I could box out. I'm like, there's not a WNBA player I couldn't box out in my prime.
I don't know, man.
Of course, again, I'm saying these are like drunken bar guy things.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, you go play at, like, you know, the local courts in LA, and you're like, I had 6 rebounds. We played to 12. I had 5 points. Like, of course I could be the Rodman. But you're just like, yeah, of course that's stupid. But I was convinced, because I was like, I also can't dunk. I'm like, I could wear a ponytail. I can get layups. That was like my argument. And I'm like, I'm way bigger. Like, I'd be able to push them around. You're like, no, that's not how basketball works.
Well, like,
but when you're in your 20s, you really have those illusions. You're like, I could do that.
Yeah. Well, I remember I said it around my mom one time, and I think this is like where I started to realize how dumb I was. But so my mom worked for the NCAA for like 20 some years. So she was like, I could get one of those girls to come play here. Like, I could. And I was like, no, like,
I'm so busy.
I was like, I got stuff I gotta go. You know, like, and that's what I was like, wait a minute, I just pussed out on that. I gotta rethink my fucking mindset on this because I'm wrong.
I don't want some girl turning in her scholarship and not getting an education because I abused her.
And thank God I wised up, because, I mean, I would have just, at that time in my life, I would have just been wrecked if I was just cogging and got on the court and then she just dominated me.
But you knew in your heart you could do. That's the problem. Like when we did our Ken Murphy video with Amanda and Jen, right? And they were like big time college softball players.
And they're good.
And we're like, we can, whatever, it's softball. I was like, I'm a great beer league softball player, right? I can get a home run every game. I'm good. And you're like, oh, no, I'm not. Because I'm playing against other guys and we're drinking beers and smoking cigarettes the whole time. Yeah. We're not the same. And she was just after the video is like, hey, do you want to like stand in and take some pitches? And it was fucking horrific. Yeah. It was terrifying.
Well, I had her on the Kent Murphy pod. We haven't aired it yet, but we were talking about that.
Did you do good journalism though? Did you really get in on
it?
Yeah,
I really dug deep. But we were talking about that. And she was like, "You guys wouldn't even get in the box." I was like, "We definitely got in the box." I go, "We definitely got in the box." I go, "We look like shit, but we got in that box."
First off,
and you made some contact.
Yeah, Amanda's full of shit because she was mad because I Ichi
coming
her
for
ass
you, Amanda,
because she threw one high and tight to scare me to let her know it's her plate. And I'm like, "Don't be a bitch."
That shit hummed in there too,
dude.
Man.
It was fucking scary, but I was like, my knees were quaking, and I'm like, "You got to get back in there." The next one, she lost it a little bit. It skipped right in front of the plate, and I like cricket Ichi wrote it. And it, like, you know, barely made it to second base, but it rolled to the grass, and I'm like, laser! And I, like, threw the bat and ran away.
Putting a laser show on out here.
I'm just saying, Amanda, you know that happened.
We got in that box.
You know that happened, that I got
We got in that box. And we'll do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Colin, this is our Tyson fight. Get out here and pitch to us.
I think I could have been a Rodman. Maybe not Rodman, maybe a Draymond Green.
You still think that?
No.
Draymond Green, day.
Right. As Chuck says, I could be Draymond and get a triple single.
What's that? What's that? Ride the coattails of 3 All-Stars?
Yeah. And give me the 4 best.
And pretend that you actually mattered on that team?
Yeah, call me the last dance
I could have done that too.
Yeah. A John Pax, whoever. Like, all I got to do is let the 4 best WNBA players do whatever, and I'm just the Bill Laimbeer of the W. That's who I would be.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's who I could have been. Just fucking doing Andy Kaufman.
Well, that was like my favorite part of the Jordan documentary. Was like how self-aware Steve Kerr was. He's like, yeah, dude, I wasn't good.
Yeah.
He's like, as long as I could just knock down some threes, like I was cool. I was on the team, and I was like, that's the mindset right there. Like, know your fucking job and just do it, and you're good.
But it is, because that's the funny thing about Last Dance is how mad everyone's getting.
They're pissed.
Clyde Drexler today was like, yeah, I could have had Jordan numbers if I took. I'm like, who else was on your team that you weren't taking as many shots?
Yeah.
And why weren't you getting to the free throw? Like, why didn't you play good defense?
Yeah.
But he's so mad, and Horace
He was
Grant's
an on-ball
mad.
guard. Like, that's
Pippin's
on him.
Mad. And I'm like, well, yeah, you literally didn't go back in a game because you're a bitch, and then you said you would do it again. Like, that's not the best. Like,
Gary Payton's mad, but Gary at least has a little bit of an argument to be mad because Jordan just straight laughed in his face.
Yeah.
Which was
But
Gary
great
Payton
for
me.
did what's best, and he goes, if I was Mike, I would say the same thing. That's how you become a great competitor. You have to believe those things. That's fine.
What I'm wondering now is how he's going to dig himself out of that hole, because in the documentary, he was like, I had nothing to do with Thomas not being on the Dream Team, and then yesterday or the day before, the tape they surfaced where he was actually quoted as saying that he did. So I just want to hear his thoughts on it.
He
now.
does the classic. He wins both ways, because he just said, "Well, I won't be on the team if Isaiah's on the team."
Yeah,
but he didn't say don't have Isaiah. It was
right.
Like, he let that guy take the fall.
Yeah.
He's just like, I mean, you can have Isaiah over Michael. That's what the world's clamoring.
Yeah, he put the ball back in their court, so to speak.
Yeah. No, the tape came out and everyone's like, we got him. I'm like,
yeah.
So what? He's just going to still be a billionaire goat and just smoke cigars and go, yeah, got him. Way to fucking drag his ass. That's some big J journalism we need in coaching. Yeah, he's still the winner.
Yeah.
He's the winner of everyone who has a grievance. They're not getting a 10-part documentary.
No.
The thing that I'm not stoked about is that now everyone's getting one.
Well, yeah, they're doing like a 9-part on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like, one for each one of the cheating scandals.
You know that Tom Brady's is going to... Because the
one
reason
for each cheating
Jordan,
scandal.
Yeah, but the reason for Jordan's was to erase the LeBron is a GOAT.
Yeah.
Like, it was specifically written and designed to take away that he was more selfish, but all that, right? They crushed the debate, right? They really tilted it for the Jordanites. With Brady, you know it's going to be the same thing where they just, like, complete, like, these weren't scandals.
Yeah.
These weren't real scandals.
Yeah. Well, LeBron's would just be like, remember when I lost 6 finals and Kyrie won one for me?
Yeah.
And then the All-Star team I was on won 2.
Yeah.
And lost to by some miracle.
The only argument
to
you
the
need.
fucking Mavericks.
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Any team Michael Jordan was on, even the Cocaine Bulls, right? The Cocaine Carnival Bulls, would not have lost to that Dallas Mavericks team, I think.
No, I don't think so.
You could
either.
not put
that was a good Mavericks team. I'm not saying it was.
Hey,
yeah, but
I
JJ Barea is
them.
running point out there.
I rooted for them. I was stoked they won. That's the kind of sports team.
Yeah.
That was like when the Pistons beat the Lakers. You know, when we were like,
and they
in
were
high school.
they were a Ray Allen shot away from fucking losing 3 of them.
Yeah,
with that
and
team.
that's all good, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just forget that they also had Ray Allen like he was nothing.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. That Mavericks team would not have beaten the Bulls. They just absolutely could not have achieved it.
No,
with
Dirk.
Oh my God, yeah, Dirk is amazing, and Dirk would get his, but no one else would matter in that series.
Can't remember who else was on that. I don't think Terry.
They had Dirk, Tyson Chandler, Cruz.
Jason Terry wasn't there anymore.
No, Jason Terry
was he
there.
on that team? Yeah.
What did I say? No, Terry. They had Sean Marion, I think, still.
Was he still okay?
The Matrix.
The greatest shot form of all time.
But that's the funny thing, right? I just said all of those names.
Yeah.
Would any of them be in the top 200 players ever, except for Dirk?
Yeah, Dirk,
maybe
and
Marion.
that's it. Yeah,
maybe Sean Marion.
Marion would have an argument for top 200. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that team with LeBron and Dwayne and Chris Bosh. I don't care if there were chemistry issues. They lost to that Mavericks team.
Yeah.
If you gave Jordan, D. Wade, and Bosh, there's no fucking chance that he lets them lose to that Mavericks team.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. You know which one I did watch, which is wild? I watched the Lance Armstrong.
I haven't watched that one yet. I need to. I've seen a different one on him before.
That one is funny because it even starts with this opening montage of people being like, Lance is going to lie to you exclusively. They're like, he's a big liar, and he's going to try to use this to make himself look better.
Yeah.
And then they just cut to Lance, and he's like, I don't know what they said, but I promise everything I say will be the truth. ... As I remember it.
Yeah, as I remember. That's such a good way out, though. That's such a great way out. That's a great way to lie.
It is great.
This is how I remember it.
Yeah, this is how I remember it. But like,
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's how I remember it.
It's a great documentary so far because they end with him winning the first tour after he came back from what I didn't realize,
when he lost his nut.
How bad his cancer was.
Oh yeah, he was bad off.
I thought it was nut cancer, and they chopped the nut off, and that was it.
No,
it
like
was in
spread to his whole body. Yeah,
he had to have a brain surgery. Yeah. So this guy had a fucking.
He
brain
overcame.
surgery.
It's a pretty incredible story. That part of it. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. In the argument they make in the documentary is the only one that matters. But they're like, literally everyone who competes in the Tour de France is on drugs. Like if they say they're not, they're lying. It's an absurd, cartoonish athletic feat, right?
Yeah.
And they do this thing where Lance won the world championship or whatever, and then he starts getting smoked, and he's like, everyone who does it should be caught and rounded up. And then he starts doing it, and he's like, his teammate's like, yeah, he didn't say that anymore. Weird.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, and the French...
I take that shit back, I said.
The French press were like, no cancer-ridden man can come back.
The French were pissed.
But they killed the French. They're like, look at these, like calling them like American racist, whatever that is, right? And then they're like, oh, they're right. Yeah. Also, you're like, your teams were, because the year before, I guess, this is why I didn't realize, they decided, hey, maybe we should crack down on drugs in the Tour de France. And they're like, there was a team of Italians that literally just got in a car and drove away. Like, they didn't talk to the media. They're just like, oh, we're
no more drugs.
And so they're like, the Tour de France is over.
Yeah.
And the very next year is when Lance came in, doped out of his mind, and won.
Yeah.
But that begs the
He
argument.
won like 7 in a row.
Yeah, because everyone's doing it. He was still the best. I'm not anti the steroid. What the problem with Lance is, and what they haven't talked about in the documentary, is how gigantic of a cock he was.
Yeah.
Because when people said you're cheating, he was trying to destroy people's names and livelihoods.
Yeah.
He didn't just like keep doing it and be quiet. He was going after people in vindictive ways. Mm-hmm. And that makes him a piece of shit.
Being a real cocksuck about it, yeah.
Yeah, because I was watching someone, as Bill Simmons was doing a thing about athletes who did something and do we forgive them, right? And they're like, McGuire and Sosa. I'm like, yeah, that was the best baseball summer of my life. I totally don't care that they were doing roids, right? Whatever. They got to Lance, and they're like, no, he was too big of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Tiger, and I'm like, what does Tiger have to be guilty for? He cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
Big deal. Everyone does that. Not me, babe. Not me, babe.
Not me, babe, y'all.
Not me, babe. Never. Never, babe.
Babe, yeah.
But then this was an interesting one, because they got to Vic, and I was like, fuck Vic forever. You know I'm a fuck Vic forever.
I know,
now.
I'm not.
But this is what I told my wife. I'm like, if it had come out that he was running the bare knuckle fights where Mike Tyson's going to die.
I'm into it.
And he had a pile in the corner of a compound.
Not with the dogs, though. Just
of like 5 old retired boxers. I'm like, the boxers got in the ring. They took the thing. But Michael Vick had like mounds of dead animal. Like, and also dogs can't do, to me, that's insidious. I can't forgive him. There are certain athletes
we've had
I can
this
never
debate
forgive.
before. I understand your side.
I'm not saying he should be in jail for life and shouldn't be able to work. I'm just saying, if you ask me if I would ever respect him again or like want to be his friend, no.
It's a deplorable act. He paid his debt to society. That's where I'm at with it.
And
I don't want to go hang out with the guy.
Do you have to forgive him? Do I have to watch a Michael Vick documentary?
I don't know that you. I don't know that you have to forgive him, but he should be able to proceed with his life now.
And I don't.
That's all I'm saying.
He can work for ESPN or whoever.
Yep.
If he's on the TV, I turn it. I turn it.
That's
I
fine.
do not watch Michael.
That's your
Vick
choice.
Yeah. And Lance is like that.
Yeah.
But see, even Vic wasn't a piece of shit about it. He seemingly got caught and was like, this thing, you could be cynical and say he only showed contrition because he got busted and lost a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But at least that's the bare minimum you can do.
But you could say that about literally everyone.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because
but
nobody's
when
sorry.
You get caught, say you're sorry. Like Rafael Palmeiro.
Nobody's sorry while they're doing it, or very few people are sorry while they're doing it.
Yeah, no one is. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. It wouldn't feel good
anymore. It's when that conscience sets in. The people that have the conscience.
Yeah.
When that sets in is when, the remorse sets in.
Well, Tiger's like, man, this Hooters waitress feels tight. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm kind of sad that I took like a bum detour.
Hang on, let me call my wife and just apologize real quick while you blow me.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Like, now I regret it because the pussy's gone and now I'm just getting yelled at. That's not cool.
She's hitting me with golf clubs. It sucks.
No. Speaking of unforgivable people, I watched a movie this week on Hulu. It's called All That We Destroy, right?
Sure.
It's part of this Into the Dark horror movie thing. And we're covering it on my movie podcast, Film Alchemist, right? So we did a show on it. But when I was watching, I was like, this is a perfect thing to discuss with Nick. The movie itself has some issues, whatever. But it has a great premise, right? So essentially, this guy's mom, they live like in the middle of like, the hills in California, like super rich person shit. She is an expert geneticist, right?
Do it.
And her son, you'd what?
I'm into it.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you'd do it. And I'm like, I haven't even gotten there yet. Fuck anything.
Is this the Splice one?
No, but we're doing genetics this month, so this is a new one.
Okay.
So her son, she thinks is a serial killer, right? He catches a girl. She gets dumped out in the wilderness, right, by like an abusive boyfriend. And he brings her back to her house, right? And she starts like doing blow and is like, I'm going to fuck this kid. Yeah. Well, next thing you know, he murders her. He strangles her and bashes her head open on the floor. He's done this before. He has like a history of like serial killer shit. And his mom's like, he's going to be a serial killer. So his mom starts cloning that girl over and over and over again so that her son can keep killing her and not kill another person.
A bunch of other people. Did she at least like leave one clone for the family to have?
No, that's like the big gray area of the movie. I'm like, send the first clone back to the family and then keep killing her.
And then just keep,
But that's what I said. I was like, is that actually good? Is that a good use of genetics?
Yeah.
So, like, someone like Jeffrey Dahmer
That's
could be
fucked
like,
up, but yeah.
But that's what, you know how, like...
But you gotta send one back to the family. Like,
right, I agree.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Here's your daughter
That was
back.
a big swing and a miss.
We are going to keep killing her, but you can have this one.
The Letterboxd reviews are great, because it's just people being like, well, if your thing is to watch rich whites kill women of color, this is your movie. I was like, ouch.
Here's your daughter, Jennifer C925 back.
Yeah. Well, the girl was wanted by the cops and shit. I was like, give her back like a clean slate girl, right? Like, that might be a good deal.
Yeah.
But that's the question of the movie, right? Is she actually doing what's good and helping her son or not? And I was like, I think so.
Or she could just kill her son.
Well, that's what Alex said. He's like, she should have killed her son and cloned his ass and started again.
See, like...
But, you know, you have emotional attachments to, like, the kid, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, what if you could do that? Like, Jeffrey Dahmer or Gacy, they could be like, you know, walk up to, like, whatever the genetic equivalent of a methadone clinic is and be like, hey, I'm a junkie, I need my fix. And they just hand you,
so it was like
an 18-year-old boy to eat. You know? Like, isn't that better?
I'm into it.
Is this the future of genetics, is creating...
What if you just, like, okay, you made, like, an island. This is fucked up. But, you know, if you're a serial killer or whatever... You go to that island, and, like, every week they just dump, like, a fresh batch of clones on there. And like,
here's a bunch of Karens. Whoever gets filmed being racist gets sent to the serial killer.
That's their punishment.
So we don't even have to do the genetics thing.
Get on the island, you racist.
That lady at the park who was choking her dog and calling about the black guy, they're like, guess what? You get to go to Gacy Island.
We're going to clone you, see if that one's better, but meanwhile, you're going to the island.
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy runs a food truck. They send Karen there to have a complaint, and then he kills her.
Dressed up like a clown. Come on in. Come on in.
Well, that's what the movie gets into, is that the kid's like, it's not real enough, right? Because the clones aren't.
Yeah.
Because that's what, I mean, I think part of it is that power of, like, taking something away, and if you keep giving them the same thing, it doesn't have that, like, sexual power component.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think it's a really cool idea
but
for
like,
a movie.
so it was like multiplicity cloning where they clone it, but it's like a carbon copy of what they are now. They don't, you know, they don't get birthed and then grow up and
Well, that's the thing. Like, she pulls this girl out of the goo, and she's already the exact same age, can speak English somehow, and gives it to. But the problem is, we learned that girl lived a whole life, so she had like some mileage, she had some problems, and that makes her a real person.
Some wear on those tires.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, she'd seen some shit. She's a cocaine criminal or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Throwing it around after she got the wine.
You got her
and
number?
This guy starts killing her, and then all of a sudden, the mom's like remaking her, and she's like, here's your Gap outfit. Go sit with my son. And the son's like, this sucks. And it's just murdering. But I don't know, man. I was like, I think... This is why I asked my wife, and she's like, you're gross, don't talk to me. So this is the perfect place to do it. But I was like, let's say that, you know, I think the most heinous crime is like child killers and rapists, right? What if you could clone like some kid, right? Let's say some kid dies of like a disease. So you're not killing an innocent kid. Or just clone a living kid, right? The other kid doesn't have to die to clone him. And then all of a sudden, these people can just go to like a warehouse and get that shit done.
No, I'm out.
You think but maybe that's the thing. Once you go to the warehouse, they're like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just like, hit him with the cow prod. That I'm into. Just round those guys up.
That's what we have to ask.
Throw them on the island for the serial killers.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
There you go. Now it's full circle. Because that's how I was like, what? I mean, if it's a genetic clone and the other person exists, is it bad? Like, what do you do at that point? Isn't it like killing cattle at that point?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not like a science
I would clone
genius.
myself if I could.
But that's what I mean. I would give my body. I'm like, you could clone me for serial killers to murder. Like Jeffrey Dahmer, I was like, he was a closeted gay who wanted dudes, and he ate them. I was like, what better victim than me?
It'd be like
I would be like
a
whole
fucked up
deep freezer.
Fucked up thing. Like, you get your clone, the clone like comes out of the goo, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? I'm you.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, cool. And you're like, all right, man, have fun. And they like get him on a plane. He's like, this is not bad. This is a pretty cool world. And then they just drop him on the island, and like all these fucking guys.
It's a pretty cool world. Oh man, those clouds kick ass. Is this grass? This shit is amazing.
And then just boom, like ah.
Yeah. Hey, Josh Chu, come on, you're gonna go have beers and hit the driving range with my friend Jeffrey over here.
That'd be a fucked up day of life that you had. Like,
they're just loving it. But that's what I mean. You give them the best day ever.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you have to help further.
Yeah,
the
you
human
gotta let them
cause.
like try a couple of things and then kill them.
That's true.
The clones.
Your argument being that if people want to murder children, we should just take
You're
them
like,
out is probably a hard argument for me to
I think that's how you do it. You're like, you sit them on a bench on Murder Island, and you're like,
yeah.
You have somebody that's like a handler that's telling them about the world. They're like, try this. This is ice cream.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, that's good, like, and then like one of the other clone girls comes over. And he's like, this is some pussy, and she like, this is a dick. this is a dick, and they're like, oh, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And then like, it just keeps getting better, and it's like, and then all of a sudden they're like, this is Jeffrey Dahmer, and he just fucking starts stabbing him. And
his last thought is,
like,
not awesome, not awesome.
It just keeps getting better, and then all of a sudden gone.
This world is a ruse. No, yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I'd rather have the ice cream.
Yeah, maybe but that's the thing. What if you had like a child murderer who was gonna cure cancer? You know what I mean? Like, he was really productive, good guy. He just had this, like...
So he's like Dexter, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know the statistics on how many serial killers are, like,
I don't know how many Dexters
productive.
Actually exist, but yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, that would be an interesting debate for a bar, right? Like, if this guy was going to cure cancer and save a bunch, but you had to what if it was me, right? And I had to make the choice, like, would you clone your own kid and let him kill little versions of your own children? But he'll cure cancer. And I still have my kids happy, healthy, and he can't get anywhere near them. Yeah. Well, you know how that movie ends, though, is that he escapes and comes and finds my real kid. That's how that movie ends.
He's got a thirst for, like, I need the real thing.
Yeah. He shows up at my house like,
clones don't bleed the same way. That would definitely be a line in that movie. The clones just don't bleed like the real ones.
That's true. I should write the sequel to that. Well, everyone's mad at the movie because the movie ends. The clone girl breaks. I'm not going to spoil it.
If you make the sequel, the first scene that you have to deliver the good one live daughter back to the family, and you're like, sorry, we forgot that in the last movie.
Yeah. So I was like, just give them the daughter back,
and then go into whatever your story is after that. Yeah. It's just like like a
like,
prologue to the movie.
Yeah, it works for the character though that this like insanely rich billionaire lady doesn't think that maybe poor people have feelings. Like, it's like, yeah, that seems all right.
Yeah, it's like
based on the world we live in.
Yeah, The Purge. They didn't feel.
Like, this could be because that's like those incels, right? They're like, the government should provide us women to have sex with, despite us doing no work to be fuckable.
That might be true. I'm pretty poor, and like I don't feel a whole lot anymore.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, if you could send my,
I care less and less about everyday things every day.
Well, dude, I'll tell you, being locked in your house, you start looking around, and you're like, look at all the stupid shit I did regularly. Like, my wife and I went to a store for the first time yesterday. Yeah. And I told you it was like a hardware store. So it was weird, like me and all these old people kind of walking around. And I was like, this is just like a thing we used to do like multiple times a week before. Like, why? Like, this shit sucks. Like, why do we do any of this?
It does. Shopping sucks. I hate it.
All of it. And I was like, I just like go buy stupid shit I don't need just to leave my house. I'm like, what am I doing? But now if you said... You could be that guy, right? Suburban dad, Griff.
Yeah.
Or you could be the guy that saved humanity from serial killers and rapists. And there's just an island.
That'd be badass.
Where, versions of me are just running around naked squealing. Just
that would be badass.
All manner of things done to my clone body. I'd be like, that's the L I'll take for mankind. And I would be a hero for all time. Yeah.
I'm in support of this for you.
Go to Clyde Barker Island, as run by Dana White.
You got to go back to science school again.
Just have at Griff all day.
On your way back. Hey guys, we got to get out of here. Good to be back in the studio. Good to be back, doing this with you guys. And we'll see you next week. Make sure you give us a rating review on all your wherever you get podcasts. We appreciate it. Bye.